quick note, I had no idea what I was saying, so if this tutorial confuses you, I'm really sorry. My friends wanted me to make this, so I tried. Also, I may or may not be sick, so my voice kind of sounds dead. But yeah.
Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight.
So what you gotta do to get your parts ready for Live2d is separate all the body parts. So right now I'm just separating the 2 pigtails, and now I'm just getting the rest of the parts. Once you get to the eyes, you want to make like 3 duplicates of the layer and then separate everything, like the eyelashes, the lights, and the actual pupils.
Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight. Chemicals collide. Hold tight.
There's also a way in Live2d you can make eyes blinking without separating the eyes at all. But if you want to make like the eyes moving, I guess, like getting smaller, bigger, and moving around, then you'll have to separate all the parts. Once you finish separating the layers, you just want to check if everything looks fine, and if not, you can just fix whatever you need to fix. Once you finish separating the eyes, you can move on to the hair. Again, you can just take the whole thing and just use it as that, but to make it more detailed, you can separate it into like 3 sections or so.
Dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion.
And now you have for your hair sections. You want to go to the Live2d download page, and you'll see that there are a lot of things to download. You want to get the Cubism editor. The rest are for stuff you might not need. Go to the first download and then put your email in so you can register, and then download either the Mac version or Windows version. Once it finishes downloading, you want to click on that setup.exe file, and it'll install Live2d on your PC. If you're on phone, you want to just like email or Discord send or something. Send the files to yourself and then just download them on your computer so that you'll have them in your files. You want to select all of your files and then make a new model in Live2d and then drag them all in. It's gonna have this like texture guide image thing. Just keep clicking OK until everything's in there. Most people say like you have to make PSDs and whatever, but like you can just use normal PNG files. Live2d supports them. You can also like change the background color in the model thing, which is kind of fun to do. But right now, I'm just selecting all the parts and making them the same size. If you need to hold shift so that it won't warp around, if that makes sense. Once you finish adjusting the size of the parts, you want to select everything again, and then make the opacity to 100 so it won't look translucent. Now you want to select everything again and then make an automatic mesh thing. You can use any of the presets, but I like to use the heavy one. And then just X out of the tab when you're finished with that. You can probably see that all of the parts have like kind of mesh on them with dots and lines. You can just rename the parts so it'll be easier for you to tell which parts are which. If you want, you can separate the parts into sections, so I'm just putting the front hairs into the bangs folder, the eyes into the eyes folder, and basically just sectioning everything so it'll be easier to find where everything is. In Live2d, there are two types of deformers. One is called the warp deformer, and the other is called the rotation deformer. There are those two icons at the top. The one on the left is the warp deformer. If you select an object and then click on that, you'll see that this green thing pops up. If you move the points around, you can see that it kind of like warps her face. That can be useful for angle X and Y. I'll get to that later. The second one is the rotation deformer. It's kind of like if you know Cute Cut and that blue dot, there's an anchor point and the head will rotate around that. Another important thing in Live2d is the parameters tab. As you can see, Live2d already set parameters for you to use. There are a lot of ones, but just some of them. Angle X, Y, and Z are for the head. X and Y are for the head shaking side to side and nodding up and down. Angle Z is for the head rotating, if that makes sense. These two are for the left eye, like blinking, opening and closing and stuff. And then these are for the right eye. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff like eyebrow movement, body movement, front hair, back hair movement. When you're doing like arms and legs rotation, you're gonna have to make new parameters. That's the icon at the bottom that says new parameter next to the folder icon. To actually use parameters, you have to set keyform on each parameter. So what I'll do is select the front hairs, head, eyes, everything, and then make a rotation deformer for it. Now I'm gonna hold Control and then drag the red arrow thing around. You want to put it so that the tip of the arrow is facing up and the center of the circle is at the neck so that it won't spin around like that. And now it should be spinning the right way. So you want to go over to Angle Z and then hit on the like 3 green dots icon in the perimeter tab. You want to go all the way to the last one and then rotate it forwards, and then go to the first one and rotate the head backwards. If you want, you can click the I button next to the rotation deformer thing, and they'll just hide the red arrow. And now if you move it around, you'll see that the head rotates forwards and back. I saved both the right and left eyelashes together as one file, so it would take up less space. You can just separate them in Live2d by duplicating it and then renaming each one. Once you've renamed them, just disappear the bangs so you can see them better. And then you want to click either Control E or that button at the top. and then take the eraser tool. You can hold the letter B and drag in and out to make the brush size bigger or smaller, and then just erase the dots and lines on each one. So one of them will be the right eyelash and one will be the left. You want to do the same thing with the whites and the pupils. So now they're all separated by each side. Now we're going to make the left eye blink. You want to go to the IL open, select the 3 parts of the left eye, and then click the 2 dots one. The third icon will remove everything. And you don't want to click the one with 3 dots since it's only an open and close. So you only want 2 keyforms. Now I'm just going to go to the eyelash and kind of make it more detailed since it'll be easier to make the blink look better this way. Once you finish, just click on the check mark, and now you can see that the dots are more detailed. I'm just going to move the dots and arrange them so that it looks like the eye is closed, I guess. And you want the parameters thing to be at the first green dot so that it shows that it's closed. Now I just move it down, fix some small things, and then I'll shrink the eye white and the pupil so that it'll just kind of blink along with the eyelash.
Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out where I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe.
And now you can see that the eye blinks well. Now what I'm doing is clicking on that icon and setting a string of dots, I guess. It'll make it easier to move around the dots, like it's better than moving them one by one. Now I'm going to set 2 keyforms on the IL smile and then move them down so that the eye is kind of like smiling. You can also move around the individual dots, and it'll make it look better. At the side, you'll see that there are those chain-looking things. If you click on one, it'll attach it to the one below it, and you can see that it kind of attaches them. I'm just doing the same thing with the right eye as I did with the left, and I'll just speed through that. Don't forget to hit Ctrl S at the end to save. So now that I've finished rigging the blinking, I'm gonna rig the pupils, like, moving around. You could just select both of them and then make keyforms on that and just move them around. But in the end, a warp deformer will help more. So you just wanna select both the pupils and make a warp deformer for them. Once you do that, you just wanna make 3 keyforms on the eyeball X parameter, and then just bring it to the right and then to the left, and you can adjust it around. Just do the same thing with the eyeball Y, moving the eyes up and down. In the end, you can just connect the eyeball X and Y, but you'll also see that the corners don't go where they should. All you can do is just go to the corners and adjust them manually so that they'll be where they should be. So now it looks like she's rolling her eyes. I'm planning to do the eyebrows and the mouth in a later video, so now I'm just gonna move on to the arms and legs rotation. I'm gonna invisible some stuff so it'll be easier to see the arms, since it's kind of blocked by the head and the headphones and everything. So now I'm just selecting the whole arm and making a rotation deformer for it. Move the center of the rotation deformer to the shoulder, and then the arrow towards the end of the arm, and then just spin it around to see if it looks good. And then you want to make a perimeter for it by clicking the new perimeter button, and then setting 3 keyforms to make it go forwards and back. Now I'm just making another rotation deformer for the lower arm. One thing a lot of people don't use is a function called glue. If you select both arm parts and click edit, and then get the lasso tool and circle 2 dots around the elbow, and then click Ctrl G, it'll glue them together. Now what this does is literally gluing the 2 parts together, which can make it really helpful when you're doing the arm rotation. Sometimes on like Q cut or something, it'll make the arm kind of like broken kinda. Using glue will definitely help a lot. Something I like to do is blinking the arm and the hand, and you can just wiggle it around, which is actually really helpful when animating it. Now I'm just gonna disappear the body and then do the same thing with the left arm. And now to Also, I'm really sorry about how bad this tutorial was. I just put it together in one day and wasn't really trying that hard, but yeah.